As we respond, my administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump.
President Biden today announcing new sanctions against Russia as the world reacts to Vladimir Putin's green light for his troops to move into Ukraine. These are sanctions designed to isolate the Russian economy, but they could have major implications for the rest of us as well. Let's talk about with Chloe Demrovsky. She's the president and CEO of Disaster Recovery Institute International, live with us here on Fox 5. Chloe, thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure, Jim.
We have talked so much about issues like the supply chain as it pertains to everything else going on in the world right now. Does a conflict between Russia and Ukraine further deepen those problems?
Well, unfortunately, it might. You said the magic word, supply chain, and we're all thinking about those all the time. And it might seem really far away. Russia, Ukraine, they're not big trading partners with the U.S. But in fact, Russia supplies 40% of the European Union's natural gas and 25% of its oil. And the EU is our largest trading partner as a bloc. So if there's major pressure on oil and gas prices in Europe and the UK, that's definitely going to affect us because there's going to be, more dollars chasing fewer products, something we're all familiar with these days. And that will certainly affect gas prices. And Americans will probably feel more pain at the pump.
Yeah, and it feels like anytime we have any sort of international conflict, it always comes back to that because really, we're not on the front lines of this, but our wallets certainly seem to be. There's been a lot of talk when you mentioned natural gas about something called the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is something that President Biden had said he would work to stop, even though the U.S. is far removed from that, or it carries natural gas between Russia and Germany. How does that factor into this skirmish right now?
Sure. So the Nord Stream 2 pipeline is supposed to bypass Ukraine and move gas directly from Russia to Germany so that it would actually supply more product to the European Union. And that project is supposed to be greenlit. It was supposed to go forward more recently in the fall. There was a 17% jump in natural gas prices because there was a regulatory hiccup in approving this. This pipeline is not operational yet. There's a lot of people thinking that this is going to be there. And so they're relying on it. And so it's this idea that more supply is coming, which is what we're looking for all over the place, not just from oil and gas, but also from other inputs. Ukraine, for example, is a major supplier of metals that are used in semiconductor chips. So if you think about oil and gas being a problem for driving, for automotive, well, you also need a car. And we know that those chips are on a major shortage too. And so there might be even further problems for even American automotive suppliers because they can't get the chips that they need to make cars. So lots of problems.
I have less than a minute left here. When you look at other countries around the world, I mean, clearly everybody has a different playbook for how they're dealing with this. But have you seen any examples of where this is working and maybe where this might mitigate any problems?
Well, I think the major thing here is to act as a bloc, and we're starting to see Western powers come together. The European Union, the UK, the United States come together to try to reinforce using sanctions against Russia to try to make it too costly for Putin to be able to move in on Ukraine or to make him feel the pain domestically of his potential actions there. So that's what they're certainly working on, and we can hope that will be strong enough to prevent it. But of course, there's a lot riding on this pipeline, right? The Germans want it too. So they might be feeling the pressure domestically as well as the prices increase here and in the European Union.
Well, yeah, and again, it's about looking at what impact we'll feel here, even if it's not a military response. Chloe Demrovsky, I appreciate the insight on this tonight. And by the way, just telling our folks at home tonight, I'll be talking more about this at 11:30 on the Final Five with Congressman Anthony Brown. Chloe, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.